Hi, my name is Rolando Gonzalez. My wife is Janice. I have two children, wonderful kids, Gabriel and Claudia. I work for Lifeway International. I'm an international salesman, so I travel quite a bit all over the world, selling Bibles primarily. Absolutely. I remember perfectly the first visit we had. As a matter of fact, we were members of People Church at the time. And when we visited Brentwood Baptist, we were located on Franklin Road. At the time, we had a Sunday school in a trailer. John Vickery was our teacher. And something that I called our attention, I say we in the sense as a family, is that the church was very persistent, inviting us back. And that was a welcome home. We have some wonderful friends. Some of them, they no longer stay with the church, but we continue in contact with them. It was very easy. And I have to say that thanks to Sunday school is when you really mingle with the core of the church. The church always has been quite large, and if you don't become a member of some Sunday school or participant, you're going to be lost, basically, you know. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that Pastor Wilson was quite different to Mike in the sense of the personality. They're both wonderful people. I think that Mike is more of a visionary. Wilson was more of a settling things down, very concerned about everybody in the congregation. For some time, I had some difficult time. I made a transition from one job to another one. He was a wonderful counselor and leader for me. He always kept God in his mind and my mind, and I have some sweet memories of him. Now, Mike, I think that he has been a tremendous asset for the church due to the fact that his vision and his point of view about where we're going is God's point of view. I believe that God speaks to him. I believe that God gives him ideas, and God lead him in this kind of ideas. No doubt about the idiosyncrasy of the people in Latin America is totally different to America. And I think we already have done plenty. We have a Hispanic church. We have also an Asian church in which I was active when Ramon Martinez was initiating all this with the Hispanics. We also have a very active ministry with Scott Harris in one of the apartment complex here in Nashville, in which we visited door to door, pretty much everybody. We had a participation from part of the church, and we worked with the evangelical church that was Hispanic in the area. So whenever somebody came to Christ, we can locate him with that church. But what can we do? I think that basically is to continue working with the Hispanic community. They are anxious, they are anxious to know more about Christ. We have a great facility, and I have no doubt that we are going to continue growing in the perimeters that we have here in Nashville and outside Nashville. I look forward sometime some of the mission work that we have, abroad in Guatemala with Shalom and all that, that they reach out and they do a wonderful job. They make an impression that is God impression. Well, I believe I have to say where I see God taking Brentwood Baptist. I think God will take Brentwood Baptist all over the world. I see many more missionaries. My son Gabriel is working for a ministry, and basically his love for missions and everything started here in Brentwood Baptist. He went to Brazil with the International Mission Board, as well as he went to Cape Town for about 10 days. So I mention this because that's what Brentwood Baptist does to the heart of the people. I have heard Mike many times to say that, your place is here, but also is to tell the story outside. And you don't have to go across the world, but we do go across the world, and we do a wonderful job. So I think that Brentwood Baptist Church within the next, 10, 15 years, not only will have more churches around the Nashville area, the Middle Tennessee, mission that we have there, but also I like to see Brentwood Baptist involved maybe in Latin America. I have seen so many pastors all over Latin America that they tell me the story. They say, you know, years ago, people came from Great Britain and United States to evangelize. Now we are going to Europe and we are going to the United States to evangelize your people. So it has been a beautiful exchange thanks to the mission work that churches in the United States do abroad. Oh, absolutely. It has been a blessing for my family, for the whole family. Most churches that I visit, because my job is basically related to pastors and churches and distribution, but we deal a lot with churches, and the mix that you find in the churches abroad in Latin America, many times they don't have the youth that you need to have. Our church has a huge quantity of young people, which they're the one that will follow up in the future. And I'm a believer in that. If you don't have that people, you know, to follow up, this is going to die. This is not going to go anywhere. I believe that this ministry, especially, you know, the preaching that Mike has, is a calling for you to get involved, basically with the Bible more, and at the same time to share. You know, I came here many years ago, over 40 years ago, from Chile, and I was not a Christian when I came to Chile. I met Jesus through a missionary group in Mississippi, and impacted me tremendously to the point that I felt compelled to even go to be a pastor back then. But you know, that's a special calling, and it was those impulses that you go up and down the roller coaster that you live as a Christian. But Brentwood Baptist Church, most definitely, it has made an impact in my kids' life. I think that having the communion, the fellowship that we have with they have with other kids their age, it has been great. I have to say I have a little bit of mixed feelings sometimes, because when I took the job with Lifeway, it absorbed me. My job was huge. I was in charge of all the Latin American market, all the Hispanic-speaking countries. So I was very active with the mission committee. I was very active with many things, you know, to the point that I have to draw back, because I was spending weekends out of the country, basically. So for the last few years, really, Lifeway, our ministry, have taken a lot of my time, but it's all well invested, I think, for the glory of Jesus Christ.